Hi. Today, guys, you're going to talk about multiplying a whole number times a fraction. And we've talked about this a little bit before, but I want to go ahead and review it today so that you can go ahead and work on it. Anytime you multiply, you're doing the same thing over and over and over again. Multiplication is really repeated addition. It's true with whole numbers, and it's also true with fractions. If we have the same fraction over and over and over again, we could add those fractions. Up here I've got 2/12, and I have it up here 4 different times. Now if I wanted to figure out what my total was, I could add it all together. I could do 2/12 plus 2/12 plus 2/12 plus 2/12. Repeated addition. That's what multiplication is. I could add all of those. And if I did, remember you only add the numerator, right? You never add the denominator. 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 gives me 8. My denominator is going to be 12, and I would end up with 8/12. Okay? I can do this faster, just like with whole numbers. I can do it faster by multiplying. Now, what I'm going to multiply is 2/12, and I have it 4 times. So I'm going to do 4 times 2/12. 4 is my whole number times my fraction 2/12. Now, when we do that, we have 2 things that we're going to end up doing. 2 operations that are going to take place. First, we're going to multiply the whole number times the numerator only. Okay? Because that denominator is not going to change. The denominator is going to be what it's going to be. All right? We don't change it in multiplication. We didn't change it in addition. We're going to multiply whole number times the numerator. So, 4 times 2 would give me 8. My denominator stays the way it is. And I get 12. So in this case, I get 8/12. I don't have to do anything else except I could do what here? Come on. I could simplify it. And whenever we get a chance to simplify, we should. In this case, I have an 8 and a 12. I would divide both of those by 4. And we would get what fraction? Tell me. We would get 2/3. So those 8/12 would go together, and I would end up with 2/3 of a circle, or 2/3 of that figure. Okay? Now, this is what you do if you get a regular fraction. But sometimes you're going to end up with more than a whole thing. We didn't have a whole thing in this case, but we could if we have other fractions. Let's take a look at that. Let's say that our fraction instead of 2/12 was something like 5/6. And we had that fraction 7 times. We would do 5/6 times 7. Now I wrote it the opposite way this time. Does it matter? No, it doesn't, because multiplication has what property? Commutative property. Good. So, again, numerator times the whole number. Okay? 7 times 5 is going to be 35. And my denominator doesn't change, right? Doesn't change in addition, doesn't change in subtraction. It's not going to change here either. This is going to be 6, and I end up with 35 sixths. But I've got a problem. 35 sixths is what kind of fraction? Right, it's improper. Okay? I've got more pieces up here than I have down at the bottom. I can make more than one whole thing. When I have 35 sixths, how many pieces make a whole thing? 6. So now you have to ask yourself, all right, how many times can I take 6 away? Well, if we take away groups of 6, we're doing what operation? We're doing division. So I want to take 6 from 35. Now, when we have smaller numbers, you can do this in your head. Okay? You don't have to do the long division. If you need to, do it. But if you don't need to, you can do it in your head. How many times can we take 6 from 35? We can do it 5 times. We can take 5 whole groups of 6 because we would have 6, 12, 18, 24, 30. If we tried to do one more, we'd have 36, and that's more than what we have. So we have 5 whole things. Now, when we take 5 things, 5 groups of 6, we used 30 of the 35. So if we used 30 of the 35, how many sixths would be left? 5. So when I do 7 times 5/6, or 5/6 times 7, I get 35 sixths, improper fraction, and from that, I can divide it in my head if I'm able to, and I get 5 and 5 6. Now, if we needed to do the division, remember how it works? 35 divided by 6, 6 from 35, 5 times, we get 30. When we subtract, we get the 5 here. This becomes my numerator, and this stays as my denominator, and that's how we get the 5 and 5 6. Let's try one. Let's have you give one a shot. And let's try 6 times 3/4. 6 times 3/4. Go ahead and multiply it. I'll wait. What'd you get? Hopefully you did 6 times 3, got 18, and your denominator is 4. Now, we can't leave that. That's an improper fraction. So we're going to take 4s from 18. How many times can we take 4 from 18? 4 times. All right, if we counted by 4s, 4, 8, 12, 16, that would be 20. 5 would be 20. That's too many. We would take it 4 times. And how many fourths would we have left? 4 times 4 was 16. How many more would we have left? 2. And we get 4 and 2/4. What's that? We ought to simplify it? You're right, we should. 4, and now 2/4 is going to be 1/2. So we'd end up with 4 1/2. Okay? That's what you're going to work on today. So, I hope you paid attention. Should be easy to do. You guys are awesome. I'll see you when I get back.